Hi everybody, it's Miss Dee from the Allen County Public Library. I hope this video finds you happy and healthy, and welcome to Teen Summer Reading Program number 2. So today we will be creating a sloth that you can put on a pencil or anything else that is small like a pencil. The sloths have a nice Velcro piece that attaches to their body. So there we go. All right, let's get started. All right, so if you picked up a craft bag from the public library, you will have a sheet that is your template to make your sloth. You'll need to cut out on the dotted line all the pieces that you see here, except for the two little circles. Those are going to be the eyes, but I put in googly eyes instead because I thought that would make the sloth look more fun. So you'll need to cut those out and actually cut out around the claws, just around the outer edge. And then you will find some felt, and I have already cut mine out to save us a little bit of time. So yours won't look like this, but I've already cut mine out. But you should have 2 colors of felt to create your sloth. A piece of Velcro. It's got your fuzzy part and the part that sticks to the fuzzy. And then some googly eyes. A needle that's attached to a piece of cardstock, so be very careful when you stick your hand in your bag. Don't get poked by your needle. And you should have some thread, and then some batting or stuffing to stuff your sloth with. All right, let's get started. All right, so after you have cut out your pieces, they should look something like this. So you've got the pieces that kind of look like eyebrows to me, but they're the part right here that the googly eyes go on, and then the head, the nose, the claws, and then of course the sloth. So you're going to need some type of marker or ink pen to trace around your sloth pieces on your felt. You'll need 2 of the body of the sloth, but everything else you just need to trace around once and cut out. So your claws and the face will be made out of your lighter color. And then the 2 pieces that look like the eyebrow and the nose are going to be made out of your darker color. And then you want 2 pieces of the sloth body. All right, so we're going to get started on the sewing. All right, to begin, you'll need to cut a nice length of string. This is probably 2 foot or so of thread. And then you're going to need to thread your needle, which you're going to put your thread right through the eye of the needle. Pull your needle down a little bit, and then at the long end of the tail, we're going to tie just a little simple knot. I'm going to do that twice. All right. I'm going to trim that off a little bit. I don't want that long of a tail. And then I'm going to begin by grabbing my 2 sloth pieces, and I'm going to start towards the bottom of the sloth, and I'm going to pull these 2 pieces apart just a little bit and put my thread in right here. That way the tail won't show on the other side. Oops, I pulled too hard and pulled it through. So be careful with felt. Sometimes that can happen because it's not as tightly woven as regular cotton fabric, and you can pull it out. So pull gently until you get right to the edge. All right, so the stitch I'll be showing you today is a basic whip stitch. So your thread is sticking out on this side of your sloth. You're going to bring your thread over and just a little bit on the edge come through. And you're going to continue in this pattern all the way around. So you'll see that your thread makes a little loop when you sew it like this. And that's another reason why I'm using light brown thread with a blue sloth, is so that you can see what my stitches look like. So this is called a whip stitch, and it's really simple. And you're just bringing your needle through the fabric, and it creates this nice little stitch. So you're going to continue to sew it all the way around, but you need to leave about 2 inches open so that we can stuff the sloth. So I'm going to sew this around and come back and show you what it looks like finished. And I'm gonna leave this part open so you can see how we stuff it, and I'll be back. All right, so I've come about as far as I can go with this piece of thread. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring it back around and only go through the first layer of the sloth and pull it tight. And then I'm gonna tie a knot as close as I can to the fabric to keep the thread in there. Just like that to tie it off. All right, and I'm gonna trim it and I'll get a new piece of thread and start sewing again. But real quick, I wanna show you, so as you're going around and doing your whip stitch, you wanna do them as evenly as possible. And mine, as you can tell, it's pretty good in some spots, but in a few others, you can see where I messed up and they weren't as even. But this is what the whip stitch should look like when you get it finished. But if you know another stitch and you would like to sew your sloth together that way, you are more than welcome to give it a try. All right, I'm gonna finish sewing until about here on the sloth. That way I leave a nice gap to put in his stuffing. I'll be back. All right, so after you have sewn most of your sloth together, leaving that 2-inch gap open, you're going to go ahead and stuff your sloth. So you'll pull off, you know, a decent sized chunk of the batting or the stuffing and just push it into the sloth's form, just like that. Now for the legs, you may need a pencil that you can use to push the batting down into the leg. And I've got too big of a piece in there. It's not wanting to go down into the leg part. So just keep working with it. Get it stuffed all the way to the edge of the leg. All right. There we go. Now, another small piece to start this leg. And you want your sloth to be decently firm. That way it can kind of hold its shape when you twist it around a pencil. But, all right. I want to stuff all that in there. Takes a little working, but eventually you'll get all that stuffing stuffed into the sloth. All right. So we've got that in there, and then we're going to close them up. All right, to close them up, we're going to start just like we did before, and we're going to go through one side and come out. And then, oh, I pulled too hard and pulled it right through the felt. So be careful, because remember, felt is woven way looser than regular cotton fabric, so it's easy to pull your thread through. So once you get your thread ready to begin, you're going to pinch the felt together as best you can and begin your whip stitch again, just like this. And it's going to close up your sloth's back. Just like that. All right, I'm going to close up his back and then come back and show you what we're going to do next. All right, so once you get your sloth sewn together and stuffed, he should look something like this. Okay, then you're going to take the piece that makes the face of the sloth and you're going to lay it on there. And then we're going to do the same thing we did to sew the body together. We are going to whip stitch his face onto his body. So we're going to start by going up under the light blue, or whatever your lighter color is, bringing your needle through. I brought mine all the way through again. I need to pause. And then you're just gonna whip stitch like we did on the body. Just a little bit. And sew the background of the face onto the sloth. All right, I'll be back when I'm finished. I'm gonna try to zoom in a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing when I say whip stitch. So you're going to poke into the dark blue right up under where the face goes and come out through the top of the face and pull your thread through, and it creates this whip stitch holding it down, okay? So you're just taking just a little bit, bringing it through and pulling it tight. All right, I'm gonna finish up. All right, once you get the face on, you are done with the sewing unless you just absolutely wanna sew the other parts on. But I'm gonna use glue because it's a little easier. So you may wanna lay your, I call them eyebrows, but I don't know, the darker spots of the sloth's face on there and kind of get an idea of where you want them positioned. They kind of go right at the edge, like that. And then once you do that, get you some glue, put on there. And of course that's gonna dry clear, so I'm not worried about having a little extra glue on there. And we're gonna just glue those down. And I'm pretty happy with the placement, so I'm not gonna move them. And I'm gonna go ahead and glue on his googly eyes and his nose. That way his face will be finished. All right, he's starting to look really cute. And we'll glue on his nose. Just like that. All right, I'll be back. All right, after you glue on his facial parts, you can glue his claws on. Put a good glob of glue on there because sometimes it just doesn't want to stick. So I want the upper claws kind of pointed down, and I'm going to leave it just where a little bit peeks out. And then the lower claws I want to point kind of upward, and I'm just going to leave it kind of poking a little bit out from the body, just like that. So it looks like he's got his claws, and it looks like that on the back. All right, and then you can attach your Velcro. So I did sticky side of the Velcro on the hand, and then you can go ahead and put the fuzzy side on the other piece of Velcro. That way when you put it to the sloth's body, it's stuck in the place where you need it to go for him to grip something. So then your sloth can hold a pencil. Well, that's a little hard to get off. All right, so we're gonna have him hold a pencil, and I'm gonna put that other claw back on. It wasn't quite dry yet, so, but once it's dry, he'll be ready to go. Isn't he cute? All right. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed making these sloths with me. I had a great time. It's a lot of fun. A little bit of work, didn't take too long. I've not been recording very, very long. So that concludes our sloth program. Next week, Miss Mariah will be doing an art project with you guys on Friday, and she's actually gonna have this one in person on the porch at 1 p.m. So you'll need to sign up for that. That way she knows how many supplies she has to lay out and how to space everything. So next Friday, the program is in person on the front porch at 1 p.m. And she's going to be creating an artwork with you. It's going to be animal themed.